No, I don't know. Check in. Let me get this thing situated. That's first and foremost. Let me get it situated. Check in, guys. It's Monday. Check in. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the light room. Happy to have y'all in here. Come on in here. Check in with your green hearts. Just still setting up a few things here. Come on in. I know y'all seen the flyer. I know y'all even shared it, so I appreciate that. So you know why we're here. I just need you to go ahead and check in with those green hearts to let me know that you are here. And you know why we are here. So check on in with me. Check on in with me. So I bought a new microphone shindig, but I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's cute though, right? It's cute. It's cute, right? So at some point, I'll figure out how to work that to get that rolling. And then we're going to be like officially podcasting around here or something, guys. Something, right? How you doing, Mr. Winton? I'm going to need you in the light room, Brother Charles, okay? I'm going to need you to step into the light room. Because I know the people can benefit from what you got to say. So think about it. I'm going to hit you up. But check in with your green hearts. Welcome to the light room. I am your host, Marquita Dorsey. This is Mental Health Mondays. Leroy. Oh, he got the brown hearts today. Hey, friend, don't forget, we could do that. You know, love is blind for you. Whenever you get ready. Whenever you get ready, friend. We got you. But check in with your green hearts. Let me know that you're in here. Listen, men, I hope you're checking in tonight. I hope you're going to be a part of this awesome conversation. Y'all know how I do. I tell you how I met the guest, and then I let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to save where I met him at, where I got this from, all that. Right now, I just need y'all to come on in here so that when he gets in here, you know, he'll have somebody to talk to. He'll have some people that's going to be in here with him. So check on in the light room. If this is your first time, welcome to the light room. I hope this is not your last time. I am Marquita Dorsey. I'm a certified mental health first aider. I am a trained mental health advocate and coach. I have an academic background in professional counseling. And I am a parent. I'm way over 25. I've been around for quite some time. So my goal here is 3 parts: to educate, empower, and equip the Black and brown communities with the knowledge, the tools, the skills, and the resources to advocate for their mental health. I am not a physician. I am not a therapist. I cannot diagnose any mental illnesses. Sometimes I do have therapists that come through, but anything you get from this live is for educational purposes only. So if you hear some stuff that works for you or that resonates with you, take it to your healthcare team so that you can get the best advice and the best service for you. So now you know why we're here. You know where you are. And then we're going to find out why we're here. My mama is in the house. Like always, shout out to Mayor Brown. Next month is May. It is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's also my mama's birthday. So if you in the group, you already know the text message is going to start around May 1st. So just go ahead and get ready so you can get that birthday reminder. But go ahead and check in with your green heart so we know that you're here. Listen, if you have sons, if you have brothers, if you have uncles, nephews, if you are a Black man, Puerto Rican, African, Asian, whatever yourself, get in here. Now, this brother is dynamic. Let me tell you something. I ain't never met him personally, but I know him, right? I follow his content, and I follow his heart. And I'm going to let him share that, and I pray that this conversation brings out what needs to be said, what needs to be heard in this space for Black men. I told him in the very beginning how proud, and this was over a year ago, how proud I am of him for being loud, for being open, for advocating for his own mental health. So here we are 1 year later, and it's absolutely time and absolutely right that he's going to be here tonight. So go ahead, share this live, share it in your groups. Hey, Lon, share it in your groups. I love your hair, girl. Share it in your group, share it in your Facebook groups, your text message group, share it in your family group chats, wherever your friends and people are that need to hear this conversation. I'm always reading something. I'm always listening to something. And I'm always finding out what's going on in our community. Let me tell you something. The one thing that's been grieving my heart lately is the state of the next generation. It's tough. You know, a young man made a status today about praying for the youth. And to me, that young man is a youth. And so I asked him to elaborate a little bit on what he meant by, you know, based on what he had seen, pray for the youth. And he just said they were crashing out. And so I even asked him to explain crashing out. And he gave a very, very good definition and explanation for crashing out. And then he said something that was important. I was having this conversation with another awesome black man on Friday about the critical thinking skills. Listen, I think I'm a young parent myself, but we got to do something. We have to do something. Because if not, it's going to be bad for everybody. Okay? It's going to be bad for everybody. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know exactly what we need to do. I just know we're going to have to do something. And so tonight is even befitting for that. Because again, here I am going to be on the other side of the screen with a black man who's very vocal about his mental wellness and his journey and his experience in advocating for his mental health. So if you have sons at any age, any stage in his life, please get them on this live. Get them on this live. We don't want to wait until our children are way past the age of listening to our voice or listening to sound wisdom. Dr. Ward, how are you? Listening to things that are going to be beneficial to their lives. Like if you have a young son, a young adult, something like, get them in this space. Because sometimes, you know, as a parent, they hear your voice all the time. So they don't want to hear it anymore. But hearing it from somebody that looks like them, you know, somebody who they can aspire to be, it may be beneficial and helpful. All right. Share this thing. That's right. Share it out. Share it out. Because we getting ready. We getting ready to bring him in. So, and as y'all can see at the top, I now get stars, right? So feel free, if you got the accounts hooked up, however this thing goes, donate stars to the Lightroom so that the Lightroom can continue to grow. I had no idea how this thing was going to grow, how it was going to develop, how it's going to turn out. But I turned my camera on to respond to a need at the time. And I continue to turn my camera on Mondays to respond to a need. The work is here. The work is necessary. I absolutely look forward to it, and I love it. So I'm going to go ahead because I've set the stage. I've set the preliminaries. Y'all know who's going to be in here tonight. Y'all know why we're here. So I'm going to go ahead and invite him into the live. But while I'm doing that, you still have time. Share this live. Share the live. Hey, Juanita. Thank you, sister. Thank you, girl. Share this live. Let me go ahead and get him in. There it is. And put my headphones on. I don't want no problem. Y'all know how that go. I am team Samsung, so say what you need to say, iPhone people, but I am team Samsung, and we're going to put these headphones and we're going to move on. As Jay Butler say, we got to go on. So we're going to go on. There he is.
You team Samsung.
I'm team Samsung. So, hey, if I got to get some earbuds, then I'll do it.
I'm coming to you live from Apple Central, baby. That's all we do around here.
The cause of all our problems. I do have an iPad. I mean, hey, I do have an iPad.
Hey, iPads are cool. iPads are cool. I'm not even gonna play you about it. iPads are cool.
There you go. Well, listen, man, look at us, right?
I know, right?
Look at us.
It's crazy.
So, again, welcome to the Lightroom. If this is your first time, I hope it's not your last time. Come on into the Lightroom. Here we talk about mental health, mental wellness. I want to make another point to make sure that we don't make this thing cliche. And I know people love saying mental health is real. That's right, mama. My mama said, blah, 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 apple. Absolutely.
I see.
You know, I want to make sure that we don't make this thing cliche. Mental health is real. Depression is real. Yes, it absolutely is. And let me tell you something. People losing their lives behind these illnesses is real too. So just making a Facebook status, just quoting it, just wearing a shirt, like we are beyond that. So that's why we come into the Lightroom on these scheduled Mondays and we educate. We want you to have the proper terminology so that when you go to your healthcare team, you know exactly what to say, how to articulate what your needs are. And if you don't have a healthcare team, when you're sitting with yourself, you know what to say to yourself. It's all a part of your mental wellness. And that encompasses every part of you, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, and your social. Some people are stressed and depressed because they don't have anybody around them. you know? So don't think that mental health is only related to having a mental illness. Everybody doesn't have a mental illness, but everybody on God's green earth has mental health. And we want to make sure that you have good mental health. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I clear that up because, you know, I was getting a little, I can't even think of what the word is, but I just didn't want people to turn, especially in our community. I don't want them to turn mental health into a cliche or just something to say, or even an excuse to not take care of yourself. Because some people are using it as an excuse to not take care of themselves. Like a Facebook status is cool, but when you realize how real it is, you're gonna do what you gotta do. Let me not get in here because we gotta talk, right? We gotta talk.
Yeah.
You're here.
I am.
So I met this good brother. The good brother, right? I met this good brother on TikTok. And when I saw him on TikTok, he was sharing his journey about being recently divorced and and his mental health journey in his new life, parenting his boys, just how things were looking at this point because things had changed, right? You went from having a whole family to it just being you and the boys and a lot of responsibility. Life had changed for you. And I saw him, you know, channeling that energy into a space where not only was it healing for him, but he was helping heal other people. I ain't never met the brother in real life. I'm on this side of the world. He on the other side of the world. But here we are in this space together talking about what matters to the both of us, and that's mental health. So, Mr. Murray, I am so glad that 1 year later, you have made it to the light room. Woohoo! You have made it to the light room. So welcome. Now we on this side of social media. We'll get back to TikTok in a second.
Right, we're gonna get
and before we head out, you know, you'll give everybody your social media platform so they can follow you and you can share your journey. But that's how I know Mr. Murray, right? So you can give the audience whatever this introduction you want to give them about yourself, whatever you want them to know.
Okay.
It's on you.
All right, so my name is Darshaun Murray, but most of you all know me as Mr. Murray. All of my friends and family from my school district that's tuning in, they all know me as Mr. Murray.
Hey, school.
I know a lot of my friends and family are here. They just call me Lindsay. On social media, though, I just go by Darshaun because it's easier for me to weed out the people who know me and the people who don't. Because if you know Lindsay Darshaun, then you know me. So when you see that name pop up, you know who it is. So
yeah,
that's something I learned from my dad. He did that a whole lot. He had several names for different walks of life. So when people would call him by a certain name, he knew how to address them. So that's something that I just kind of took from him.
come on, Daddy. Strategy.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Lindsay Darshaun. In here, he's going to be Darshaun or Mr. Murray if you from the school.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat, whatever comes off the tongue, easy.
Yeah. So that's the welcome. That's the intro again. And I want to encourage people, you just never know who's looking, who's listening. Again, we met each other on TikTok over a year ago, and here we are in this same space today, a year later, talking about, again, what we both have our own personal experiences with, and we both have a platform for. And so with that, I'll just open up and ask, man, what happened?
Man.
How did you get there? How did you get to TikTok? What happened?
Ooh, she said, what happened? She said, let's just jump right into that thing. What happened? No chases, no nothing.
Straight to it.
Straight to it. So this is pretty much what happened. So I got married young. I was like 23, 24 whenever I got married. And I believe that I had found the love of my dreams, right? Just like all of us, it was one of them things where we was like, hey, I like you, you like me. We've been doing this for about 2 years or so now. What's the word? And essentially, I ended up popping the question really actually kind of random. We kind of went viral whenever I did it because I popped the question at Book Raiders Jewelry in Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
So for anybody that's wondering, I'm in Missouri. So if my R's start rolling or whatever like that, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, but I'm out here in Kansas City right now representing, the world champions.
Okay, see?
You know what I'm saying? We out here. But
Well, that's
So
Oklahoma City.
we ended up getting Kansas City, Missouri. Come
Okay.
on now, we got to get it right, Miss Patrick
My bad.
Mahomes.
I was
Come
like,
on,
wait a minute.
come on. But we ended up getting married young. I was 23 or 24. Can't quite remember off the top of my head, but young, right? Right out of college. And from that point, I think we were only without children for about 2 years.
Hmm.
And we had our first son in 2016, who is Nolan Murray, my love, my firstborn, my guy, and then in 2018, we had our second son, Noah Murray. And, that's my guy too. He got all the spunk that you could ever ask for a little 4-year old. And
Come
he
on,
keep me,
Nolan and Noah.
yeah, they keep me going, I'm telling you. And essentially, after the children came, is whenever there was a shift.
Mm.
So the boy's mom, which I affectionately call her Ama, and we can get into that in a little bit about why that's the name that I chose. But after or while she was pregnant with our first child, she had something called transient osteoporosis of the hip, which was something that debilitated her to such a fact that she could not work. She
Mm.
could not bathe herself. She couldn't do anything. So for a young woman, young black woman, having her first child and not having heard any family members ever having any experiences like that, that was extremely scary for her and
Mhm.
extremely scary for me as a new husband, soon to be new father, right? So because she was out of work, one of the things I had to do, I ended up picking up one, two, three jobs.
Wow.
So I was a computer science teacher at the time. I was I was working for Boys and Girls Club also. And then I also Ubered on the side whenever those
Wow.
Mizzou football games came. Oh,
Yeah.
I was bringing in like $1,800 a week
Wow.
just Ubering. So my life was literally nonstop to make sure that she had everything that she needed and did not want for anything, as a man is supposed to do, correct?
Amen.
But the thing that seemed to happen was that it seemed like it never bounced back from that
Mm.
situation. And we did counseling and things started to get better and things of that nature. But as time went on, we had another child, which brings more stress. And of course, she had her own fears about what she would deal with mentally, physically with that. But luckily, Noah didn't give her much of an issue. So fast forward a few years, I end up in a situation at my former school district where racism was a part of the story. It was a small school district, and being one of the only black men in my building,
Wow. Wow.
as a certified educator, it was very difficult, right? And I decided that it was not the best place for me to continue to grow and flourish. And because of that, it opened me up to all these different opportunities. The unfortunate thing was that the boy's mother had never lived outside of Columbia, Missouri. And I, being from St. Louis, Missouri, had already gone. I had not lived at home since I was 18. So once I graduated from high school, I was gone and I never
Mm.
came back. The opportunity to come and teach here in Kansas City, Missouri opened up, and I immediately jumped on it because I wanted to go somewhere where being black and being an educator was not something that was this big,
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. One
Like, I
far
mean,
fetched.
it's still a big deal to be black and an educator. But in this city, I'll never forget the first convocation I went to. It was like I was at a HBCU party or something like
Okay.
that. You had frats hopping and all this wonderful professional development. You had people from all walks of life everywhere. I felt like I was at home.
Mm-hmm.
And to pull her out of what was considered her comfort zone and to bring her here, uh, that was one of the breaking points for her because it was never part of her thoughts to be away from her family like that. While for me, I'm a dreamer, and anytime I have the opportunity to go bigger and go better, I'm going.
Go for it. Yeah.
So whenever we got here, one of the first things that I felt was that I felt like I wasn't being supported, doing whatever I needed to do in order to make sure that my family was well taken care of. And as time progressed, mental health started to take a toll on her and I.
Mhm.
And since we were in this new space, we were not getting the same like resources and family units. We didn't have a family unit here like the way we did in Colombia, because now her family was 2.5 hours away. My family's 4.5 hours away. And as far as like having somebody come and watch these kids so that adults could go be adults,
Yeah.
that
Wasn't
just
there.
it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So from that point, it just really started to just deteriorate. It was just a matter of time. So once the playing field was set, that mental health started to come in, and we didn't have nobody to talk to about it, it just slowly started to chew and pick away at us. And it got to a point where we were rude to one another. To we where mommy at, where daddy at, we gone for all times of day and night. I'm at work all day. I'm finding all kinds of reasons to not be at home because I feel like I'm not appreciated at home. She's running away from home because she's not feeling appreciated at home. Communication starts to break down, and then eventually it all comes to a fever pitch where I'm doing everything I can to try to keep it together. And then one day, the breaking point for me was when she sat in our living room, looked me in my eyes, and told me, "I just don't love you anymore."
Wow.
In the living room where we had just got a nice little house and everything like that. We had only been there for like a year. And all out of nowhere, I'll never forget that. You know how there are all these trends that say, "What's the phrase that broke you?" That's the phrase that
Yeah.
broke me. She
Yeah.
looked me
Wow.
crying, snot, the whole nine, looking me in my eyes and tell me, "I just don't love you anymore." And that was the point for me where I was like, okay, well, we gotta do something about this.
Man, that's, let's just breathe and take that in, right? Like, just, and shout out to everybody giving the reactions. We definitely appreciate that. Again, it helps with the algorithm and move this around, because I'm very sure some man, woman, or couple's life is going to be helped, because he done said a couple of things. He didn't have anyone to talk to, so the lack of community, avoided going home, change of location, which could have triggered something, which did trigger something inside of both of you. And that's the thing when it comes to mental health. You could be normal all of your life, normal for so many years, and then one thing happens and it triggers something inside of you, and you become a whole different person. You begin to act or react a certain way, or a different way. And for some people, they never come back to center. They never go back to, the safe place. They just follow, that thing that they've changed into. But I just don't love you no more.
Yeah.
You said you were working 3 jobs and just trying to show up, all the ways you knew how, and then she looked you, and this is no shade to her. We're just talking about the
Right.
experience. But she looked you in your eye and said, "I just don't love you anymore." What were some of the emotions or feelings that came with that, if there were any?
The initial the initial shock of it, I was just numb. I got down because she was on the floor, like just in pieces. I got down, I went and got like some paper towel or something like that, got down on my knees and started wiping her eyes and her nose and everything like that. Of course, she don't want
Yeah.
me to, you know what I mean? But I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm still your husband. You know what I'm saying? I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And me,
Tell them now. Tell them now. It's not the time to be
it
calling
ain't the
you.
time.
No,
Get
it's
on the
not the
live.
time.
Get
Get
on
on
the
the live.
live.
He is not answering calls right
Yeah,
now.
get on the live while we call it.
Right. And while
But
we got this breaking
mhm,
conversation, if you have any questions for him, please put your questions in the comment section. Make sure, again, you give reactions. You can now give stars. Thank you, Juanita, for the stars.
mhm.
And again, comments, questions, just give feedback to this, because we finna talk about it. To hear a man, a black man, get in this live space and say that somebody said to you, to your face, "I just don't love you no more." And we was trying to figure out what emotions came up behind that, if there were any. And you said the initial one was
Yeah,
numbness.
it's just absolute dumbness because I went right back into the mode of I need to, as every man tries to fix this, right?
Hmm.
Fix this. So there was never a point where I felt like there was nothing that we couldn't do to fix it. But that was the point where I realized that she didn't want to anymore. She just said she didn't want to fix it. She doesn't want to try. She doesn't want to go to counseling. And as much, it didn't matter how much I wanted to. It seemed like there was just no way. The one thing that I held on, that kept me holding on to hope that it would be all right, is the story of Tony Evans and his mother and father. Are you familiar with this story about how?
I just love Tony.
So Tony Evans talks about how his mother basically was an unbeliever, didn't want to do any of this stuff, but his father would he started basically following the word, right? After so long, she hated it so much that that he's actually had to go into the basement to pray, to read the Bible and stuff like that. And it took 3 or so years of him doing that until one day his mother came down to the basement, breaking down, crying, "Why are you still here? What is this God that you're talking about?" Right? And that's how Tony Evans' father led his wife to Christ, right? I'm thinking to myself, well, if God could do it for them, he'll do it for me, right? So I'm finna get on my Tony Evans, that's what I'm thinking, right? But then it brings up the question, well, what about when he doesn't? What if that's not?
He doesn't?
What if it's not in the cards for you, brother? That's not what he planned for,
Come on.
So, and after seeking, wise counsel from the pastor who married us, shout out to Clyde Ruffin at Second Missionary Baptist Church in
Baptist.
Columbia, Missouri. Yeah, Dr. Clyde Ruffin over there. Talking to him, and I told him the truth. The reason why I was afraid to stop, because I told him I didn't want to disappoint him, because he had married several couples and had only had one divorce before.
Wow.
And he said it was the first couple he had ever married, and he knew he should not have married them. And then here I am. I was like his pupil. He was the head of the department while I was at the university. He watched me grow up, watched me meet this local girl, and then get married, have kids, all this beautiful stuff. And then here we are. I'm talking to him about this. And then he said, "Son, you did your job. You will not disappoint me if you move on." And that was the freedom that I needed. I'm not even gonna hold you. I needed that
Dr.
freedom.
Clyde.
Yeah, because I thought he was gonna just be no. And I appreciate just having a church home like that, where they just look at the reality of the situation, and you got 2 kids. And one thing that I could definitely say that her and I, the boy's mother and I did agree on, was people try to stay together for the kids. But what about the idea of separating for the kids? Because if her and I stayed together, Nolan and Noah would not have had an example of what love looks like. They would have stayed. We would have stayed there. They would have watched us go back and forth, and then we would have continued some kind of vicious cycle that we see in the Black community right now. And I needed my sons to see their father loving a Black woman the right way. And I want them to see their mother loving a Black man the right way, even if that Black man not me, even if that Black woman not her. They still deserve to see that, right? So who are we to be those people to decide that this is the only way it's supposed to be for them? Okay, we talking about their life now. So we had to wrap our minds around that concept. And I'm glad that on those principles I decided to walk out.
Yeah.
Because my sons deserve to see it. And of course, I mean, I deserve to be loved too, but we ain't talking about it, right?
True. And that man, this is such a good story, right? Like the realities and the truth, and like you said, to speak into the community. Sometimes when they separate, it just go like the love separates, and not just the romantic love, but like the love for the person who you fathered and mothered children with, and it becomes so dangerous, so toxic, so unhealthy for the children.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so important that when we become parents, we consider our children
Mm-hmm.
above our own desires a lot of times, because we have a responsibility to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're their first teachers. We're where charity begins in home and their identity and things like that. So kudos to y'all for walking the way you did. And again, kudos to Dr. Clyde Ruffin. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you shared that part of the story too, because we know another part of the toxicity in our community comes from the church. You know, got people staying married and this man knocking this woman upside the head. This
Right.
woman talking to this man like he a hole in the
Mm-hmm.
road. They just don't love each other. The children are stressed out, you know, but they can't say anything because my daddy the pastor and my mama the
Mm-hmm.
first lady.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't go to church and speak the truth of what goes on at
Mm-hmm.
home. And so these children grow up in internal turmoil, trying not to disappoint people at the church. So shout out to Dr. Clyde Ruffin.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead with your story.
So once we got the divorce, or once we decided that we were going to do it, so this is where I'm gonna sound like the bad guy, and that's fine because I don't mind. I'm always gonna take responsibility for what I did. So once that day came when she decided she said she didn't love me anymore, right? And I asked her just straight up. I took 2 days and I asked her again. I said, "Do you really want to do this? You want us to go our own ways?" She said yes. And then I opened up my laptop and I asked her, "Let me get all the passwords to all of the bills." And we sat down. She opened up all the different accounts and stuff like that. I changed the passwords. Boom. 6 months in advance. Boom. 6 months in advance on the light bill. Boom. 3 months in advance on the rent. Boom. This, that, and the other.
Come on,
And
black man.
and
Hallelujah.
and she and she looks at me and she's like, "What are you doing?" After I got done, I said, "You are no longer financially responsible for anything in this house. You have 30 days to pack your things and go. Take all the money that you're making and apply it to you moving on and getting into a new life." I said, "But my sons and I will be right here."
Mm,
And
wow.
this is where a lot of people will just be like, "He kicked her out?
Yeah.
What?" Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just gonna call it this. I'm a Murray. And Murray men are always about their
Yeah.
business. So the moment that we decided that emotions were no longer tied to this, it's all business now, baby. This ain't about the feelings.
My
So
person.
I wanted my healing to start immediately. I said
Come on, healing.
immediately. So I said 30 days. I talked to my stepmom and my dad, and they were like, "You gotta treat it like a business deal, sir. You have give her 30 days. Don't pay all the bills you can for as far as you can, because this is gonna be a rough journey, my brother." And so I did. I exhausted all of my savings
Wow.
and just to do everything I could to make sure that I stayed current on all the bills. And I told her, "You don't have to pay for anything." She said, "Well, I'll still buy them food." No, you have one objective: get out.
It's
30
30
days.
days. Come on, notice.
and and July 15th. Oh no, not July. June 15th of 2021. She was out the door.
That's
30
it.
days from that conversation.
That's it.
She tried to get an extra day. She tried to, no, couldn't do it. I mean, I got the master bedroom. You got the air mattress in the living room. You know what I mean? I got the boys got their rooms, and you got the bathroom. You sharing it with the boys.
Had
Everything
come on,
because
structure.
and I hated to do it. I
Yeah.
felt horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, sick in my stomach. But the thing was this, in my mind, you wanted to make adult decisions and you want to be an adult without me. Let's go, then go be an adult without me. As they say, what Tyler Perry said, she wanted to be free, so I freed You know, so she wanted to be free, so I freed her and immediately. And once, so she got out and everything like that. I did not help her move. I didn't help her do anything because here's the thing. Now you want to be separate from me, so all of the different things you got as me as a husband are no longer available to you anymore, effective immediately. And that was the part that was hard for me because I had to separate it quick. Quick. I'm not the type of person to drag something out. So you don't want to do this no more. It's been 4 years down here and and it ain't working. So that's fine. We did it. But she ended up moving into a spot and I stayed in the spot that we shared together for the first year of everything that was going on. That's whenever you came across me on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I remember the laundry room, the clothes washing scenario, and I was like, she got to take him to the laundromat, her mama house or something.
Yeah, oh my God.
I did.
Yes.
I said that.
Oh my goodness, yes. I said something like whenever your ex is trying to do laundry at your house, but she your ex or something like that.
I said, take her to the laundromat, her mama house. Yeah. She got to go somewhere.
Oh my goodness, that was so hard. I had so many people on my head. They was like, she's still doing laundry at your house? Stop being nice to her, bro.
Right.
People were serious. They was like, bro, stop being nice to her. That woman been dragging you for years, bro. Years. They was like, stop being nice to her. And I'll never forget the day I told her that. I said, you can't wash over here no more. She said, where am I supposed to wash it? I said, you got coin laundry in your apartment complex. I'm not washing my clothes in there. Well, your family 2.5 hours up the road. Go wash your clothes at your daddy's house.
But you can't wash them here.
But you can't wash them here. You can't wash them here.
She got to go somewhere else.
She got to go somewhere else, man. And it's fun. And this brings me. So this is why I started doing TikTok. So I found my safe space in the TikTok community, and just to get all of that out in a creative outlet. Because I'm naturally I got my undergrad in theater, so naturally I just have this, right?
Oh, it makes sense now, man. It makes sense now.
Yeah, so I'm out here and I'm just like, they coming and I'm just running with them.
Yeah.
Because the ideas is coming and I needed to get them out of my head so that I could I know I'm not the only person out here that's dealing with this. Right. I know I'm not. And that's literally how all the TikTok stuff started. And it was scary at first because I didn't want my friends and family and people to see. One, I didn't want them to see me hurting. Two, I didn't want people to think that I was making fun of her or anything like that. And then the third thing was I didn't want her to see them. Because I was just like, yo, she gonna see this stuff and then I'm gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to deal with that, man. So, but I made light of the situation because one of the things that I noticed was that when black men, we don't tend to have a safe space to heal. We also don't have a safe space to laugh about our healing. And I wanted to create that with my social media platform because there were all these different stages of healing for me. You got the, oh, God's gonna fix it, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the rage, oh man, I can't stand nobody. You got the isolation, and then you got the city boy phase, you know what I'm saying? We gotta laugh. Yeah, you gotta laugh about all of it. And my biggest advice to men, and to black men, period, do it all.
Do it all.
Go through all of it. Go through all of it. Don't feel bad because you mad at her. Don't feel bad because you mad at God. Go talk to God. When you ready to talk to God, write it down in a journal. Do whatever you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel bad because you got to kick Shawty out the house at 2 a.m. because she making too much noise and your kids is down the hall. Do not be mad because you did that, big dog. And I'm not saying I ever did nothing like that, okay? I'm just saying that if that's you, black man, don't feel bad because it's part of the process.
Part of the process.
It is. And as long as you let everybody know that I am healing, not
Not
healed.
healed.
And then whatever happens after that sentence is proceed with caution. You see what I mean? Do what you got to do, just plain and simple, so that you can move on, especially if you have children.
Yeah.
Especially if you have children.
So with that, I mean, bringing up the boys and, you know, you being a man, and we know culturally how tough it has been for Black men in the past to be openly expressive, because you said like they don't have a safe space or even a happy space when they're going through healing or when they're feeling pain. How has that been with the boys?
Woo.
You know, them experiencing this as well.
So it was in the beginning, especially whenever we stayed in the same space that we shared, it was hard because I have childhood trauma from basically the same situation. I was 5 years old whenever my mother and father separated. And I remember that's like one of the first memories I have in my memory bank is of that
Wow.
day of them getting into a fight and my father being arrested. And then I have no memories of them ever actually being in the same space again after that. And luckily for my children, they don't have that traumatic experience to pull from, because me and her never got physical or yelled at each other in front of the kids, thank God, right? But there would be nights where they were unconsolable, crying.
Mm-hmm.
Where is mommy? Where is mommy? When is mommy coming home? Is mommy going to come home? And I mean, I would just be sitting there crying my eyes out with them
Yeah.
because my heart, my soul, everything hurt for them because I knew what that pain felt like to not know when mommy was coming home or if mommy was safe or anything like that. Because when I spent time with my dad, I used to worry about that all the time. And my dad used to do exactly what I did for my boys, sit with me until I stopped and went to sleep. And I would sit with Nola and Noah for hours, and they would just cry and cry and cry and cry, and I would just cry and cry and cry.
I
Cause
remember some of those videos too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was very scary to post as well because I was sitting outside the room and I recorded myself sitting out the room. So and you can hear them crying in the background. That was not a joke. That was me being real with everybody out there because I realized I could be honest like that on TikTok. Uh, because I didn't know what to do. I wanted to cry because I miss mommy. I wanted to cry because of my childhood trauma. And I wanted to cry because I felt like I was doing the same thing to my kids that was done to me whenever I was growing up at no fault of their own. So I felt like a complete failure at that point. And it used to, and it bothered me. It bothered me to the pit of my soul. So they definitely noticed. They noticed that that mommy was no longer in the house. They noticed that daddy was there all the time, which was
Right.
something that I take pride in. Is that I'm part of that small percentage of Black men who actually have their kids. Like my sons are literally on the other side of this door, hanging out and enjoying themselves. I told
Yeah.
them, Daddy got an important meeting, so you gotta shh. And
Yeah.
I'm like, do it with me. They're like, shh. So they just over there hanging out, right? So, but so that's how they did it. And they started school without her. Their first year of school, she wasn't there for that. And I mean, I've got so much to be proud of because I did. I got them through their first year of school on my own. I still to this day can't believe I did that.
That's and kudos, like again, following the journey and just talking back and forth on TikTok,
Mhm,
encouraging each other here and there in the social media space.
mhm.
I do applaud you and I do give you kudos because there is a, not very large percent of Black men who are doing such a thing. But I hope that those that are listening and that will hear this live will understand you can do it. And I'm glad you shared that. And I don't know if y'all heard that, use it as a tool when your children are upset and crying, especially he has sons, and a lot of times, in the culture, they want you to toughen up. No, 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 no. Sit with your children, sit with your sons, allow them to feel, allow them to release those feelings as well. If they come out in tears, screaming, whatever the case may be, like sit there and be their support and their protection. So thank you for sharing that out loud. And I hope fathers and even mothers who may, because I've seen another guy, I think it was on Facebook, kind of going through the same thing. Like he didn't know what to do. His son was upset. I think he had lost his grandma. And he recorded, and the baby was, oh my God, you could hear the baby yelling in the background. That child was hurt, but he had lost his grandma, and the dad's like, I don't know what to do. Like he just didn't know what to do. So let this be a tool in your toolbox, fathers and mothers. When your children are in distress and pain, don't make them suck it up. Don't tell them to get over it. Like, let them feel it. Sit there with them in it. So they'll learn how to do that as adults. Because I don't know if y'all listening and paying attention, but this young man right here is put together. Shout out to your parents, okay? This young man is put together. So, ladies, you know what I'm saying? There are black men out there put together,
Yeah, we
he's in Kansas or whatever. I'm just throwing that out there, he the bros or whatever. That's your thing.
Hey, shout out to the bros,
Look, that's
Omega
your
Psi Phi
thing.
Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Omega chapter, we shutting down the city this weekend. Shameless plug, just throwing it out there. Since the NFL draft is in Kansas City, Missouri, come hang out with the bros this weekend.
There you go. So listen, well-rounded. He's an educator. Like he's a father. He's responsible. He know what to do and when to do it. Okay. Now I'm putting you on Love Is Blind. That's what I'm gonna do for Leroy.
Oh Lord.
But I wanted to touch on a couple more things before we have to get out of here. And that thing is the healing part. What was in your toolbox? Like, who were some of the people in your toolbox, and what were some of the tools in your healing toolbox to get you to this place? Because I know that was tough, like that process, that journey. But now you look different, you sound different. And what were some of those tools in that toolbox for your healing?
First and foremost, God never left me.
Amen.
I walked away from God, but He never left me, because I was mad at Him. He was like, "That's all right." I was heated at God, but God never left me. So that's the first and foremost. That's how I had that in my toolbox. And then I had my community in my toolbox, and by community, I'm talking about the teachers that I teach with over at Whittier Elementary School. Talking about that squad over there,
Squad up.
They never let me quit. Never let me quit. I wanted to do, and I had every right to take FMLA for that entire school year, because I got divorced on I think it was August the 2nd of 2021. School started August 8th.
Jeez.
And I had every right to take FMLA and not come in. But I was looping with a group of students who literally watched the whole thing. That class, I had them for 5th grade and I had them for 6th grade. So they watched what was going on with COVID, and then they watched me go through the worst time in my life. So those 48 kids and my team over at Whittier Elementary School held me down through all that.
Shout out to the team.
And
Shout out to the team.
If it wasn't for that squad, I would have never met Audrey Nixon. Miss Audrey Nixon is
the mentor.
Is the 69-year-old firecracker from the West Coast. And she, I met her through a mutual teacher in my building who I have no idea how he found out what was going on with me. But he gave me a pink piece of paper. He said, "This woman saved my life.
Wow.
And when you're ready, call her. She will call you back in 24 hours because she will not answer because she don't know your number." I held on to that paper for 3 months. And one day I was sitting on my couch. Now it's going to get dark, y'all. I was sitting on my couch. I had a bottle of Crown Royal, like a normal bottle. I was through that bottle, that whole bottle. And I had my phone in my hand. And I knew that I was done. I couldn't emotionally spend, physically spend, mentally spend, couldn't do it no more. I picked up that phone and I called Audrey Nixon. And I said, hey, my name's Lindsay. I teach here. I got your number from this person. He told me that you saved his life. And I believe him. So he told me you would call me, you wouldn't answer, and you would call me back in 24 hours. So, yeah, just give me a call back. And I hung up. And I made up my mind that if that woman ain't called me back in 24 hours, then it was a wrap. Because just going to work was hard. I remember driving my car to work, and all I wanted to do was but all I kept thinking about was, I don't want to hurt nobody else. This is about me. You know what I'm saying? But if I do that, then I'm going to hurt somebody else. I ain't have access to no weapons because I literally had just pledged. And if you know anything about that, I got rid of all of that stuff because it's crazy. And so it was just me. I was going to find a way though. And that woman called me back within 24 hours. That was over 2 years ago.
Wow.
And me and Miss Audrey have been rocking ever since. She helped me get myself back on track mentally, physically, emotionally. And I am not perfect by all means, but I definitely am 1,000 times better than where I was. And a little bit about this woman, she has beat cancer 5 times.
Wow.
Her biggest loss to cancer was her sight, but she always say, by losing my sight, I gained my vision.
Come on, Miss Audrey.
Mm-hmm. And she gave me that one. So this is the one I gave her. You are free to choose, but you're not free to consequences.
Amen.
And she said, I chose to live. I chose to live for my sons. I chose to live for them 48 kids. For all those people that didn't give up on me. And for all my friends that popped up on me on randomness and was like, bro, if you take yourself out, I am not going to your funeral. That would be the most unattended funeral the world has ever seen.
Shout out to the friends.
Yeah, they was dead serious. They was like, bro, don't do that. Shout out to all the friends that popped up, even the ones I didn't want to see, the bruhs, because the bruhs will never leave you. But because, man, them boys was on my head. And I was not trying to hear it. That was my Neo year, too. So I crossed, became the bruhs, got married, got divorced, and had to deal with being a Neo for one of the toughest fraternities that this world has seen. All at the same time. So, but
Man.
Shout out to all those people that did not let me quit because I sure wanted to, but
Listen, that's an awesome toolbox. Let me tell you, the strength of community, y'all. Listen, the power, you never know how powerful your words or your presence is to somebody. And if show up, right? Like show up. These people showed up for him. And like you said, the toughest time. And if you're an educator or anywhere where there are students, like they ain't all bad. Like there's some hope in there. There's some hope from your kids. And shout out to I'm gonna call them the Great 48. Shout out to the Great 48.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah,
hey, I like it.
The Great 48.
The Great 48.
Yeah. So thank you for choosing to live, for yourself, the boys, the Great 48, your team at your school, and for the purpose that God has in your life. Because again, look, 1 year later, here we are in this space. You're sharing your story. You're sharing your testimony. People are getting to hear this wisdom, and even this hope. And I'm just going to say, as a Black woman, it is so sweet to hear a man talk about how he handled his business. Like, you handled that thing, my guy. Right. You handled that. And I know it was tough, but you did what you had to do.
People thought I was crazy. They was like, she said, what? And then 30 days and August the 2nd, they was like, you got, bruh, it's 60 days. I said the state of Missouri only requires 60. I read that paperwork from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So I made sure it was 61 days. So,
Yeah.
so
There it is. Well, kudos to all the things that you've done. And again, thank you so much for sharing this story. You've had so many powerful nuggets in here, and just now having the background to those TikToks and makes them even all the more powerful, right? You know, I came from the space just hearing, just seeing what you were presenting and just sharing in the space. But again, just to know the background and, you know, that it was real life survival for you. I thank God that we crossed paths in that place. And so I want to take a second right here to ask if there are any questions, right? Do you have any questions for him? Be it related to his story, your story, any questions that you might have as far as wisdom for your young men or just life. Because as you can see, again, this brother is put together, okay? He got it. He ain't perfect, but it is a blessing to see. So do you do any mentoring, mentorships, anything like that?
I'm actually in the process of trying to get something like that together because I'm still fairly new to the Kansas City area. I'm fortunate enough to actually be working with this program called Upper Room over the summer, which basically is a program that allows students to not fall victim to the summer slide. So I'll be there as a teacher teaching English and maybe a little bit of social studies, but we mainly trying to read books, right? So,
No, for
I'll be
real.
doing that, and the hope and prayer is that that is what's going to open up the community to me through that avenue. But I have plenty of other brothers. Like I got a brother named Jorge Fuller who's in here right now,
Yeah, he
who
been in
is
here spitting the
big,
gems too.
big stepping in Kansas City, Missouri for a long time, doing his thing from being in the classroom to being a mentor with this program called City Year and all kinds of wonderful stuff. So I try to stay linked up with him as much as I possibly can, but he be running around, I be running around, you know, black men that be trying to do stuff for real. We far and few between, so we always moving, you know. But that's my hope, is that I will be able to continue to put my foot in the ground in the city and get my name out there as somebody that I can actually mentor young men and even other black men, you know.
Yeah,
I'm still growing as time goes on. So
that's good. I have family in Kansas.
mhm,
And the guy who opened up for Mental Health Mondays for this year, he just moved to
mhm,
Kansas. So I'll send all y'all information that way. All of y'all are beautiful black men out here, you know, serving in purpose, living healthy, blessed, prosperous lives. So I think y'all get together and build something up. It's going to be a real good blessing to Kansas. So I'll just make sure that you and Charles and my cousins,
mhm.
I'll exchange our information and y'all can kind of go from there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't see, so while in your health, I was going to say I don't see no question, but I got a question. So while in your healing process, are you or have you met a new friend later, or you haven't made it to that point in life yet? We want to know.
Well, we want to know.
We want to know. You know.
I, I, so I'm gonna put it like this. I'll put it like this. I have definitely met a wonderful woman, and she is definitely in my life in more ways than one.
Amen.
And some of y'all might know who it is, and some of y'all might not know who it is, but you ain't gonna know tonight.
Thank you.
But
Make a little special appearance.
I have definitely I've met my fair share of young women and women above my age in my time separated. And I highly, highly suggest to the men out there that are going through this to get out there and meet these women. One of my favorite TikToks that I do is there's this woman who's playing on a harp, a big harp, and she's just doing her thing. And I just cut in the middle and say, hey, you worried about Shaquita down the block, but she playing a harp,
Okay.
brother. Like there are women out here playing harps for fun.
Okay.
Like you know, but you worried about old girl that is a GM at McDonald's. Come on. you doing?
Stressing you out.
Stressing you out.
Stressing
Figure out
you
where
out.
you at, big dog. You worried about old girl with the crystals. You know what I'm saying? Hey, calm down. She playing a harp over here, bruh. There are other ones out there. Go find you a
Go
girl
find.
that can play the harp.
There you go. And those that can, because I can't play a harp, but
Oh
you
well,
know,
yeah, yeah,
hey.
and don't, but it's just an analogy. You know what I'm saying? Go
Yeah, I
find you
got you.
one. Go find you a woman that's out there playing the harp, the violin. She or got her own show, her own TikTok following. This wonderful woman right here. I'm pretty sure that she ain't got nobody on her arm, and if she do, she been hiding them real good.
Well, you know,
Oh, you thought this was just gonna
we
be
ain't gonna
me?
talk about it tonight.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about it tonight. Oh, okay, okay.
We ain't gonna talk about it tonight. Look, we're still
we
healing.
Oh yeah, there we go. We still here, lean, not
We're
healed.
healing.
But yeah,
Oh.
dating has been fun, and
Yeah.
it is not for me. I will say that,
We're doing you right, boy. Something out there, I tell you.
man.
But thank you for sharing that, and I'm glad that there's somebody there in this space. And I pray,
Mhm.
that it serves and fulfills the both of you the way that it needs to. This has been absolutely amazing, like I
Mhm.
knew it would be. Okay, and there's so much more we could explore, but we'll wrap it here because you got school in the morning. And the
Man,
rest.
man, do I have school tomorrow? I got PTO. I don't know what
Come
you're
on,
talking about, man. I mean,
tell them prepare the others over there. Like you know what I'm
right,
saying? Like,
right. Prepare the others. I got
split my
PTO.
class up. Like you, some of y'all go over here, some of y'all go over
Right,
there.
Jorge.
I
I'm
feel
gonna
you.
need you to come back real quick. Rebecca, I'm gonna need you to pull up. Like,
Y'all cover for me. Cover for my
cover
boy.
for
I
me,
feel
because
you.
I'm gonna be late.
I'm
It
trying
passed
to
my
tell you
bedtime.
what you said. I was up all night. I was working.
Hmm.
But so how can the people follow you and connect with you across this platform and places? Where can they find you at?
Well, first and foremost, you can just add me as a friend right here, Darshaun
Mm-hmm.
Murray on Facebook. I will accept all friend requests for like the next 24, 48 hours without having to vet you. But because I know what happens. But
Just
you
say
can
I came from
also,
the light room. You want to
yeah,
get in quick.
yeah, just say you came from the light room, and I'm gonna just go ahead and check your box. But there's also, you can find me on Instagram at, I think it's that guy Lenzo, DAT,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a teacher, so I'm gonna mess up like that. DAT, that guy GUY Lenzo LINZO, and that's the same thing for TikTok as well. So I'm out here.
Yeah, he's out there, and the TikToks are good again. Just to see the journey, it was definitely a rough start, but I've watched him grow. I've seen him grow in this healing process, and I'm absolutely proud of you, brother. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you, and I'm glad we got this opportunity to like chop it up, and you got this chance to share and add, just some background and some clarity, and share some wisdom to
Oh
the
yeah,
other
no
men.
problem. And I appreciate
So,
you for giving brothers like me a space to do that, because that's what it's all about. This is my first
absolutely.
time sharing the story publicly like this. And of course, not in extreme detail, but this is
Yeah,
the most detail I've ever dropped out in the world before.
from the
So
light
yeah,
room.
Lightroom exclusive.
Yeah, Lightroom exclusive. That's what happens in the Lightroom. Well,
Hmm.
I don't take it lightly that people show. Somebody asked me this weekend, like, how do I get my guests? I said, well, I'm a great observer.
Hmm.
Um, and I believe in divineness of everybody that has come into this space. We're
Hmm.
supposed to be here. So I observe people's space, either in person or across the social media space. And then I allow the Holy Spirit to be like, yeah, that one right there. So,
Hmm.
uh, it was destiny that we met, and I'm glad that we met. And this just further proves and confirms that to be true. So if I'm in Kansas or when I'm in Kansas, because like I said, I got family out that way and some friends.
Bet.
Shout out to Ken Cheadle. But when I'm out there in Kansas, I'm gonna make sure to hit you up so we can hang and
Hmm.
really chop it up. We're gonna make the Lightroom live. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be out here traveling the world for the Lightroom. We're
Oh
gonna get
yeah.
these things happening in a city near you. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, for sure.
But thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for taking the time to heal. Thank you for taking the time to go through the process, right,
Mhm,
for yourself and for those around
mhm.
you. And I'm sure it's been way more beneficial to do it that
Oh
way. Is there anything you want to
yeah.
close out with, leave the people with before you depart ways with us?
Yeah, I'll just say, when I'll say, first off, you're free to choose, but you're not free to consequences. And that goes both ways, positive and negative consequences, right? Uh, and I also say when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high, you want to laugh, but you have to cry. When cares are pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not
Don't
quit.
you quit. Some things I'll never
There
forget.
you go.
Yeah, shout out to Spring '09. Some things I'll never forget.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, you absolutely right. Don't quit. Man, where's
Don't
my
quit.
thing? I
You
bought the doggone
bought the
thing.
whole
Don't
thing?
quit. Sure, I had a whole frame, the plaque. Don't quit,
Man,
because
I wasn't gonna give them Invictus. I couldn't do it.
yeah. They aren't ready for that. They ain't ready
They're
for that.
not ready for that.
Well, Mr. That Guy Lenzo, I'm telling you, it has been great. Absolutely good. And I'm sure this is not the last time we'll be in this space.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I look forward to the light room growing and shining light. Thank you for sharing your story. I know it is healing to hear. So thank you for sharing it. I pray it has served you to share.
Hmm.
And then shout out to your team, your community, your support system that has held you down through this process, well, held you up through this process. So tell the boys thank you for allowing us to have you for this
Oh
time,
yeah.
um, and them being good on the other side of the wall. And so I will
Hmm.
see you on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this will be up on Facebook. I mean, YouTube, of course. Once I get everything downloaded, I'll definitely make a post and let you know, and that way you can share the YouTube link or however. But
All right, sounds good.
I absolutely appreciate you.
All right, then. I appreciate you too.
Have a good night, sir.
You too, good sis.
Yay! We got it done, y'all. Listen, I'm telling you, if you're going to be in the social media space, let it work for you. Don't just be on there with the mindless scrolling. It works how you work it. Social media is a platform. It is a tool. It is a resource. So use it as such. Like I said, this brother is in Kansas and I live in Texas. Who knows? God connects those who are supposed to be connected. And I do believe in divineness. My life is absolutely divine. And that's why we're here tonight. So if this was your first time, I hope you enjoyed it. If not, thank you for coming on at every scheduled Mental Health Monday. May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. Um, Dynamic lineup coming. Like my opener, I'm so excited about the person that's opening Mental Health Monday. I might cry a little bit, right? I might cry a little bit, but my opener and my closer. Everybody's gonna be good, but that opener and that closer are gonna be something. So make sure we're live every Monday in May because it's National Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want to make sure that we put the education out there. We want to put that proper terminology out there. I want you all to go beyond the cliche of saying mental health is real. It absolutely is. Good mental health is real as well. This Black brother just shared with you his experience, right? We know people have gotten divorced or even just broken up. One even married, just broke up, and it totally destroyed their lives. But he said one powerful and two powerful and important things. God never left him, and his community was there to hold him up in his time. So you cannot do this alone. I do not encourage you to do this alone. You know, get yourself healed so that you don't have to feel like everybody's out to get you, and you can have a support system. There are people here to support you, and we just heard it. It was just proven. So shout out to his school, his team, the Great 48, his class, and his boys, Nolan and Noah. Thank y'all. This has been Mental Health Monday in the Light Room. Thank you for the stars. Okay, again, you can give stars in the Light Room. We going up. We going up and we going on. I'm really grateful. I'm really excited about what's to come for the Light Room. So have a good night.